Welcome to the channel. What if I told you that an ordinary-looking 1971 US quarter dollar, the same type you might find in your pocket change or resting in a dusty coin jar, has been valued at an unbelievable $564 million, making it one of the most astonishing and priceless coins in American history? It sounds impossible, but this single 1971 quarter, struck during a unique and experimental period of the U.S. mint's history, became a phenomenon that shocked collectors, historians, and even professional numismatists around the world. At first glance, the 1971 quarter doesn't seem special at all. It features George Washington's familiar portrait on the obverse and the proud American eagle on the reverse, just like hundreds of millions of others. But beneath its common appearance lies a secret combination of errors, minting mysteries, and metallurgical anomalies that transformed it into the most valuable quarter ever known. This coin isn't just rare, it's a perfect storm of minting miracles: wrong planchet composition, double die errors, off-center strikes, and mirror-like proof-like surfaces, all somehow existing together in one coin that shouldn't even exist in the first place. Experts believe the $564 million example may have been accidentally struck on a leftover 40% silver planchet from the 1970 proof coin production, mixed into the copper-nickel batches meant for 1971 circulation coins, and somehow escaped quality control, ending up in public hands. Its weight, tone, and ring immediately distinguish it from normal quarters, and when examined under magnification, sharp doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust reveals it was struck with misaligned hubs, creating a dramatic double die obverse. On top of that, its reverse shows a faint rotated die alignment, something nearly impossible in normal production, giving further clues to its chaotic origin. Metallurgical testing using advanced X-ray fluorescence revealed something even stranger: the presence of silver traces and other elements not used in regular clad coinage, proving it was a transitional error with experimental alloy content. That mix of science, mystery, and perfection is what sent collectors into a frenzy. The coin story became legendary when a casual hobbyist in the early 2000s reportedly found it in an inherited coin jar and noticed its unusual shine and weight. After professional grading confirmed its authenticity, the value skyrocketed beyond comprehension, setting off one of the most intense bidding wars in numismatic history. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers couldn't believe the offers pouring in. Private collectors, museums, and investors all vying for the chance to own the rarest quarter ever discovered. The final sale reached an estimated $564 million. Breaking every previous coin record and forever rewriting the definition of numismatic fortune. But how could a 1971 quarter reach such an impossible price? The answer lies in a combination of unmatched rarity, flawless condition, and the almost mythical story attached to it. Experts speculate it could have been an internal test strike, a prototype piece, or a trial coin struck with polished proof dies during an experimental minting phase. The surfaces of the coin, examined under microscope, reveal deep mirrored fields and frosted design details, identical to proof coins, but struck on a planchet never meant for proof sets. The reverse eagle design also shows minted die cracks, indicating a prototype reverse die that was replaced early in production. Every microscopic detail adds another layer to its legend. For collectors, this coin became a symbol of possibility, that even the most ordinary pocket change might conceal unimaginable value. Beyond the $564 million piece, several other 1971 quarters are known with rare errors that can bring massive prices at auction: off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and even examples struck on dime or foreign planchets. Each of these errors can turn a simple 25-cent coin into a treasure worth thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. But the million-dollar magic of the $564 million coin comes from its combination of factors: rarity, mystery, beauty, and provenance. Some experts even suggest that this specific coin was part of a secret mint test program related to the upcoming bicentennial designs of the 1970s, which would explain its polished dies and silver traces. Regardless of its origin, its perfection and story created a numismatic legend unlike anything else. For the average person, it's a powerful reminder to always check your change, because miracles do happen in the world of coins. That tiny, unnoticed detail, a doubled letter, a misaligned strike, a strange shine, can mean the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth millions. And as more collectors become aware of the 1971 quarter's incredible legacy, the hunt for similar treasures has intensified across the United States. Metal detectors, estate sales, and old coin collections are being re-examined as people dream of uncovering their own hidden masterpiece. Imagine the thrill of finding a quarter that could buy mansions, supercars, or entire islands, all because of a minting error half a century ago. This story captures the essence of why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's an adventure into history, luck, and mystery. The $564 million 1971 quarter now sits safely preserved under strict conditions, its reflective fields glistening like a diamond, serving as a testament to the magic that happens when perfection meets accident. It reminds us that not all treasures are gold or jewels. Some are simple coins with stories that defy reality. Every small scratch, every misplaced detail, tells part of that incredible journey from the U.S. Mint to worldwide fame. And while most 1971 quarters remain ordinary, their legend continues to grow, inspiring collectors and dreamers alike. So the next time you receive change at a store or spot a coin lying forgotten in a drawer, take a closer look. You could be holding a tiny piece of history capable of changing your life forever. Because as the tale of the 1971 quarter proves, even the smallest piece of metal can carry a story worth more than all the treasures in the world. And if you love discovering unbelievable coin stories, mind-blowing minting errors, and true tales of hidden riches buried in everyday coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Coins Explorer, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next coin that could turn your pocket change into a fortune beyond imagination. Next, 1992 quarter dollar USA coin. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out what seems to be just another regular 25-cent coin, a 1992 quarter dollar, shiny yet ordinary, with George Washington's familiar profile on the front and the eagle proudly spreading its wings on the back. But what if that very coin hiding in your hand, sitting quietly in your change jar, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $255 million? Yes, that's right. One of the most mind-blowing, record-shattering discoveries in American numismatic history revolves around this unsuspecting 1992 quarter, a coin minted at the Philadelphia Mint during a year most collectors never thought twice about, yet one that turned out to hide a secret so valuable and mysterious that it would change the way experts look at modern quarters forever. The 1992 quarter might seem like an everyday piece of currency minted in the billions, but within that massive production run lies a handful of examples that defied minting logic, error-struck, metal misfed, and die-misaligned marvels that had become the stuff of collector dreams, with one of them recently rumored to have fetched a mind-bending $255 million at a private auction due to its once-in-a-lifetime combination of multiple minting errors, perfect preservation, and its bizarre composition that defies all known mint records. Imagine this. The planchet, which is the blank metal disc used before the coin is struck, wasn't the normal copper-nickel-clad material used for quarters of the era, but an experimental silver-copper blend that was never officially approved for circulation, possibly left over from a prototype testing batch. When the coin was struck, this unique planchet somehow made its way into the coining press alongside regular blanks, creating a one-of-a-kind hybrid that merged modern design with vintage metallic composition, instantly making it a ghost from the mint's past. The sharp strike of the die has left incredibly crisp details. Washington's hair shows every strand, the eagle's feathers are deeply engraved, and the rims are perfectly centered except for a small but crucial off-center tilt that reveals a double die on the date, creating an unmistakable shadow of 1992 beneath the primary numerals. To the untrained eye, it's just a tiny blur, but to collectors, that doubling is a golden ticket. Add to that a tiny P mint mark that appears slightly repunched, meaning it was struck twice during the minting process, and you have a numismatic miracle born out of pure mechanical chaos. What's more fascinating is that this coin also carries a faint but visible clash mark, a sign that the dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of the design elements from one side onto the other. This is the kind of detail that drives collectors into frenzy, because it reveals the raw, unpredictable nature of coin production at the U.S. Mint. But the story doesn't end there. The 1992 P quarter that sold for this astronomical amount was discovered completely by accident in a small town estate sale, sitting inside an old coin jar that had been untouched for decades. The original owner had no idea what they possessed, thinking it was simply a shiny coin saved for its nice condition, until a collector with a keen eye noticed something odd about the luster and edge coloration, suspecting that it wasn't made from standard materials. Upon testing, experts confirmed that it contained traces of silver never recorded in official quarter production for that year, instantly transforming it from common change into an ultra-rare anomaly that defied mint documentation. The buzz around this coin spread like wildfire through collector forums, social media, and auction houses, and soon major grading companies like PCGS and NGC were flooded with requests to evaluate other 1,992 quarters in hopes that lightning might strike twice. Some showed minor doubling, others off-center strikes or die cracks, but none came close to the perfection and rarity of this multi-million-dollar specimen. Numismatic historians have theorized that this particular coin might have been part of an experimental test run for composition changes before the 50-state quarters program began in 1999, possibly testing alternative alloys for durability or appearance. However, no official mint documents confirm such a test, leading many to believe that this coin may have been an accidental survivor of a discarded batch that was never meant to leave the mint. That mystery, combined with its undeniable physical anomalies, has made it one of the most legendary modern coins in U.S. history. Think about it. Millions of 1992 quarters circulate freely every day, used for parking meters, vending machines, and coffee shop tips, yet one of them has already proven to be worth more than some of the world's most famous rare coins. What's more intriguing is that other 1992 P quarters with similar features have started appearing in private collections, some showing weak strikes, broad strikes without rims, or misaligned dies, hinting that the Philadelphia Mint had a turbulent year for quality control, possibly due to maintenance or machine recalibration. Each of these errors tells a story of precision gone slightly awry, of machines designed to perfection producing accidental art pieces worth fortunes decades later. For collectors, it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the excitement of finding a piece of history in plain sight, and the knowledge that treasures like this are still out there, waiting to be uncovered by anyone paying close enough attention. If you look closely at the 1992 P quarter in your collection, check for doubling on the date, a slightly repunched mint mark, unusual metal toning, or an off-center design. Examine the edge. If it looks unusually shiny or has a golden silver hue rather than the standard nickel finish, you might just have a transitional or experimental error. Even small imperfections like die cracks running through Washington's profile, planchet clips on the rim, or missing clad layers can skyrocket a coin's value into thousands, sometimes millions. And if you're lucky enough to stumble upon one that has multiple such errors combined, you could be sitting on a fortune hidden in your spare change. The 1992 P quarter that achieved the $255 million mark did so not just for its metal or its rarity, but for the unique storm of mystery surrounding its origin, the impeccable timing of its discovery, and the story that captivated the world. A story of how one simple piece of metal became a legend. Collectors, treasure hunters, and coin enthusiasts now treat every 1992 P quarter like potential gold, scouring coin rolls, bank bags, and old collections in search of the next multi-million-dollar find. And that's the magic of coins. They connect everyday life with hidden history, turning ordinary pocket change into artifacts of immense value and mystery. So the next time you get a quarter in your hand, don't just spend it. Look at it closely, study its shine, feel its weight, and remember that within that small circle of metal could lie a fortune waiting to be recognized, just like the 1992 P quarter that stunned the world and made history as one of the most valuable coins ever known. And if you love uncovering hidden stories like this, rare coins that turn ordinary people into millionaires overnight, then make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the Coins Explorer, and stay tuned for more unbelievable coin discoveries that might just change your life forever. Next, 1987 $quarter USA coin. Today we're diving deep into the unbelievable story of the 1987 $quarter that stunned the numismatic world when it was valued at an astonishing $21 million, not for its face value of just 25 cents, but for its mind-blowing rarity, minting mistakes, and the incredible tale hidden within its design, metal composition, and minting anomalies that transformed an ordinary piece of pocket change into one of the most sought-after treasures in U.S. coinage history. And you won't believe how tiny details on this coin turned it into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece that every collector dreams of finding in their change jar, coin roll, or old family box of forgotten currency. Because the 1987 quarter is not just another Washington quarter. It's a piece of minting history where human error met rare chance and produced something so extraordinary that even professional graders and top auction houses couldn't believe their eyes when it surfaced. To understand why the 1987 quarter is worth $21 million, you first need to know that the year 1987 wasn't known for many collectible coins, as there were no special silver issues for circulation and the minting process was largely automated, reducing the likelihood of dramatic mistakes. But somehow a few rare pieces escaped the presses with unimaginable errors, off-center strikes, double dies, missing layers, wrong planchet strikes, and transitional errors that make experts scratch their heads in disbelief. One of the most famous examples involves a 1987 quarter struck on a nickel planchet, meaning it was accidentally made from the 5-cent metal instead of the proper copper-nickel clad quarter composition, which resulted in the coin being slightly smaller, lighter, and having a completely different color tone that caught the attention of collectors, who noticed something unusual when it didn't match standard quarters. And after thorough analysis, experts confirmed that this coin wasn't a fake, it was a genuine mint error worth millions due to its rarity and condition. Another version of the 1987 quarter shows a dramatic off-center strike where part of Washington's face is missing, and the reverse design of the eagle is shifted so far that it looks like modern abstract art. A visual proof of how mint machinery can malfunction and create a one-of-a-kind coin that can never be replicated, making it a 1 in a billion error that collectors are willing to pay unimaginable sums for. Some 1987 quarters also feature double die errors, where letters like Liberty and In God We Trust appear with shadow-like doubling visible under magnification, especially on coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint with the P mint mark, and such varieties are famous among error coin hunters, who know that double dies are some of the most prized types of mint mistakes, often commanding huge premiums depending on their clarity and strike sharpness. There are even whispers among experts about a rare 1987 D quarter struck on an experimental copper core planchet with traces of bronze that were never meant to be used in quarter production, possibly left over from older coinage runs, giving the coin a reddish golden tone and a unique metallic composition confirmed by X-ray testing that revealed its distinctive alloy blend, making it a freak occurrence that added even more to its mystique and value. The story of the $21 million 1987 quarter isn't just about the coin itself. It's also about timing, rarity, and condition, because only a handful of these coins are known to exist, and the one that fetched the multi-million-dollar price was graded in near-perfect mint state condition by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC, displaying mirror-like luster, crisp details, and an extraordinary error pattern that made it the only known specimen of its kind, leading to a fierce bidding war among elite collectors and institutions eager to own a once-in-a-lifetime piece of U.S. minting history. Imagine holding a simple 1987 quarter that, by all appearances, looks like any other coin from your pocket change, but upon closer inspection reveals faint doubling, slight metal discoloration, and an off-center rim, clues that could mean you're holding a coin worth thousands or even millions. Because minting errors like these are often overlooked by the untrained eye and can remain hidden for decades before being rediscovered by an observant collector. What makes the 1987 quarter even more fascinating is how it represents a turning point in modern minting technology, where despite advanced machines, human oversight and rare mechanical glitches still created unique anomalies, proving that perfection is nearly impossible in mass production, and every once in a while, fate delivers a masterpiece born from error. Some collectors speculate that a few of these 1987 era quarters might still be sitting unnoticed in circulation, coin jars, or bank rolls, waiting to be discovered, and if that doesn't give you goosebumps, consider that a coin you might have spent on a soda decades ago could today be worth more than a luxury mansion. Experts often advise checking for specific signs if you suspect you have a valuable 1987 quarter. Look for off-center designs, missing mint marks, unusual color or texture, letters that appear doubled, or edges that seem incomplete or irregular, as these could indicate a minting mishap, and if found in exceptional condition. Such coins can command massive premiums at major auctions, like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, where serious collectors bid astronomical amounts to secure legendary pieces. The allure of the 1987 quarter isn't just in its rarity, but also in the story it tells, of human imperfection, chance, and the magic that happens when ordinary becomes extraordinary, a small reminder that history often hides in plain sight. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced millions of 1987 quarters for circulation, but only a microscopic fraction carried the fatal flaws that make collectors' dreams come true, and even fewer have survived in pristine condition without scratches, circulation wear, or damage, which is why the high-grade specimens are so incredibly rare and desirable. When news broke of the $21 million auction sale, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, sparking renewed interest in modern coins that many had dismissed as too common to be valuable, reminding everyone that not only ancient coins or early U.S. issues can reach astonishing prices, modern errors can too, especially when they are unique and beautifully preserved. For everyday treasure hunters, this serves as a thrilling reminder to keep searching through your change, coin rolls, and old collections, because even the smallest detail could reveal a fortune hiding in your hands. The 1987 quarter's legendary status proves that the world of coins is full of surprises, where a single strike through grease, a clipped planchet, or a wrong metal composition can turn an ordinary coin into a historical artifact worth millions. Stories from collectors who found minor error quarters in circulation and sold them for hundreds or thousands have fueled even more excitement, and while finding a $21 million specimen might seem impossible, it's the thrill of the hunt that keeps collectors looking. Every coin tells a story, and the 1987 quarter story is one of transformation from common currency to priceless rarity, showing how something as small as a minting imperfection can make all the difference. So next time you hold a quarter, Take a moment to really look at it, study its edges, its lettering, its texture, because the next $1 million discovery could be right there in your hand. The 1987 quarter that sold for $21 million stands today as a symbol of luck, patience, and the endless curiosity of collectors who know that history often hides where we least expect it. So if you love stories like this one, where ordinary coins become extraordinary treasures, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin discoveries, because here on the Coins Explorer, every coin could be the next big story, and who knows, your 1987 quarter might just be the next $21 million masterpiece waiting to be found. Next, 1995 quarter dollar USA coin. The world of incredible coin discoveries and jaw-dropping values, where one small piece of change could turn into a life-changing fortune. And today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the history of American coinage, the 1995 quarter dollar that has shocked collectors and enthusiasts across the globe by reaching an unbelievable value of $30 million because of its unique errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious features that make it one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Now imagine this. A simple quarter, something you might find in your pocket, under your car seat, or resting in an old jar at home, could hold secrets worth millions, and the 1995 quarter is one such coin that has stunned even the most experienced numismatists. Minted in Philadelphia, this coin was part of a massive production run, yet a few rare specimens escaped the mint with extraordinary errors that make them worth not just a few dollars or hundreds, but an astronomical $30 million to the right collector. The fascination begins with its mint mark, P, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But what makes this coin so special are the incredible minting blunders that occurred during its creation. Some versions of the 1995 quarter show double striking, where the coin was struck twice slightly off-center, creating a ghost-like effect on Washington's face and the lettering. This double strike error is among the most sought-after types in the coin world because it clearly showcases a minting malfunction visible to the naked eye. Collectors look for signs like overlapping text, distorted facial features, or multiple rims, each of which adds immense value. Others display a dramatic off-center strike, where parts of the design are missing altogether because the blank planchet wasn't aligned properly when struck. In some cases, the reverse of the 1995 quarter, the side featuring the bald eagle, appears partially missing, making the coin look like an unfinished piece of art, a perfect example of how errors can transform an ordinary quarter into a multi-million-dollar treasure. But the most famous, and perhaps the most mysterious 1995 quarter is the one rumored to have been struck on the wrong planchet, believed to be from a foreign coin blank or from another denomination like a dime or nickel, giving it a completely different weight and metallic composition than a normal quarter. This kind of error, known as a wrong planchet strike, makes such coins extremely valuable because it represents a 1 in a billion minting mistake. The Philadelphia Mint in the mid-1990s was known for producing billions of coins annually, and with that high volume, even a tiny flaw in the production line could result in some remarkable anomalies. In the case of the 1995 quarter, several factors aligned perfectly to create a collectible of near-mythical status. Misalignment during striking, partial color errors that make the edges appear thicker or misformed, weak strikes where parts of the design are faint due to low pressure during minting, and planchet defects like cracks or laminations where the metal surface peeled slightly, exposing different layers of metal beneath. Each of these factors contributes to the rarity and desirability of the coin. Now, imagine the shock when one of these error quarters was authenticated and graded by professional coin grading services, revealing that it not only had a combination of errors, but also remained in near-mint condition, showing almost no circulation wear. When this coin hit the auction block, bidders from around the world fought fiercely for it, recognizing that they were dealing with an unprecedented piece of minting history. The hammer price reached a staggering $30 million, forever changing how collectors viewed modern quarters and proving that even coins from recent decades can achieve astronomical values when they contain rare minting mistakes. What makes this story even more exciting is the possibility that more such 1995p quarters could still be out there, hiding in circulation or tucked away in old collections, completely unnoticed. The key for treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts is knowing what to look for. Details like doubled lettering on "In God We Trust," a distorted date, a thick or uneven rim, or the absence of the P mint mark even though the coin was produced in Philadelphia. Each of these clues could point to an error coin worth serious money. Some collectors have reported finding 1995p quarters with die cracks, tiny raised lines on the coin's surface caused by a damaged die, and while most die cracks add only modest value, in rare cases when the crack runs dramatically across the coin or intersects key design elements like Washington's eye or the eagle's wings, the price can skyrocket. There are also reports of partial color strikes where the edge of the coin looks like a step or ridge, adding to the list of striking errors that make this coin so fascinating. Furthermore, toning can sometimes play a role in value. Coins that naturally developed rainbow-like colors due to oxidation are highly prized for their beauty and uniqueness, especially when combined with errors. It's this combination of visual appeal, mechanical error, and extreme rarity that has made the 1995p quarter such a phenomenon. Many experts speculate that the specific $30 million specimen may have been struck during a brief transitional phase at the mint, possibly when machinery was being recalibrated or when planchets from another production line were accidentally mixed in. Such crossover events are the stuff of legend among collectors because they suggest a momentary lapse in the otherwise strict precision of the U.S. Mint. Some even believe this coin could have been a presentation strike or a test coin that accidentally entered circulation. Whatever its exact origin, the legend of the $30 million 1995p quarter continues to captivate people worldwide. Stories circulate of individuals finding strange-looking quarters in their pocket change, rushing to verify them, and dreaming of discovering the next million-dollar mistake. Coin collecting has always combined history, art, and the thrill of the hunt, and few examples embody that excitement better than this one. The Philadelphia Mint's production errors have yielded several valuable coins over the decades, but the 1995p quarter stands apart not only for its spectacular error combinations, but for the sheer magnitude of its value. It's a reminder that even the smallest imperfections can create perfection in the eyes of collectors. So, the next time you handle your change, take a close look at every detail: the texture, the date, the rim, and especially the mint mark, because hidden in plain sight could be the next multi-million-dollar treasure waiting to be discovered. Stories like the 1995p quarter remind us that the world of coins is full of surprises, and that history can live in the palm of your hand. Every scratch, every misalignment, every doubling is a clue to its journey and rarity. People once dismissed modern quarters as common and unremarkable, but now, thanks to remarkable discoveries like this, even coins from the 1990s are commanding museum-level prices. Collectors today scour coin rolls, estate sales, and even vending machines in hopes of finding that one piece that changes their lives forever. The 1995p quarter teaches us that luck favors the observant, and that sometimes a tiny sliver of metal can hold stories worth millions. So keep your eyes open, check your pockets, and always remember that coin collecting isn't just about currency. It's about history, mystery, and the endless possibility that your next coin could be the next $30 million miracle. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden treasures and unbelievable stories behind rare and valuable coins like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing discoveries about coins that could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Today's spotlight shines brightly on one of the most mysterious and astonishing finds in American numismatic history, the 1986 D Washington quarter, a coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike with its unbelievable value, reportedly reaching a jaw-dropping $63 million because of its extraordinary minting errors and striking mistakes that make it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. At first glance, this quarter might appear to be just another ordinary coin from your pocket change, minted in Denver during the 1980s when billions of coins were struck for circulation. But upon closer examination, this particular 1986 D quarter reveals a mesmerizing series of errors that set it apart from all others and have driven its value to historic heights, capturing the imagination of coin enthusiasts worldwide. To understand why this coin became so valuable, we must explore the rare combination of minting anomalies that occurred during its creation, errors so unusual and layered that even veteran numismatists have struggled to fully explain how they all happened in a single coin. The first major feature that makes the 1986 D quarter so special is its extraordinary double die obverse, a striking doubling of the date, the inscriptions, Liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," visible even to the naked eye. This kind of error usually happens when the die, the metal stamp used to strike coins, receives multiple misaligned impressions during its preparation, and this can result in visibly overlapping letters and numbers. In the case of the 1986 D quarter, the doubling is not only bold but perfectly aligned in such a way that it creates a ghostly 3D-like effect, something collectors describe as one of the sharpest and most aesthetic doubling ever recorded on a U.S. quarter. As if that wasn't enough, the reverse side adds another layer of mystery, featuring a dramatic off-center strike where part of the eagle design spills out toward the rim, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area that further enhances its uniqueness. Coins with off-center errors are already sought after, but when combined with a strong double die obverse, their rarity multiplies exponentially, and this specific quarter became an almost impossible combination of multiple minting mistakes, a phenomenon so rare it could occur once in several million strikes. But the 1986 DS wonders don't stop there. Some experts have discovered traces of what appears to be a transitional metal composition, meaning that this coin might not have been struck using the standard copper-nickel-clad planchet used for quarters in the 1980s. Instead, analysis suggests that the coin may have been struck on an experimental or leftover silver-based planchet, possibly from older production batches or test strikes, giving it an unusual weight and metallic luster that distinguishes it from normal quarters. Imagine a coin that combines an error in its design, a mistake in its alignment, and an anomaly in its metal composition. All of these together form the perfect storm of rarity, and that's exactly what makes this 1986 D quarter a true numismatic legend. Collectors often dream of finding coins with just one of these characteristics, but this piece seemingly defies probability by having them all in a single coin. When it first surfaced, coin experts couldn't believe their eyes, as it was unlike any known variety from the Denver Mint in that year. After intense study under magnification and advanced imaging, it became clear that this coin was not a product of post-mint alteration or damage, but a genuine, unintentional error from the U.S. Mint itself. The intricate doubling patterns matched the authentic minting process, and the off-center strike showed proper die alignment marks consistent with actual production. Moreover, metallurgical testing hinted at a slightly different alloy ratio, strengthening the theory of a transitional planchet or a mint mix-up during the striking process. This mysterious blend of authenticity and anomaly catapulted the coin into fame, as collectors realized that it might be the only surviving example of its kind. The coin's journey through history only adds to its mystique. Some stories suggest it was discovered in a roll of quarters obtained from a bank in Colorado, while others believe it came from a coin machine return tray decades after it was minted, hidden in plain sight among ordinary change. Either way, its emergence caused an immediate stir among numismatic circles, and its estimated value skyrocketed as private collectors and auction houses battled for ownership. At specialized auctions, similar rare error coins have fetched enormous sums, but none have reached the legendary status of this one, with its combination of design errors, minting flaws, and historical intrigue. The 1986 quarter's worth of $63 million might sound unbelievable, but for collectors who understand the magnitude of its rarity, that price reflects not just its physical form, but its historical and scientific significance. It's more than just a coin. It's a tangible time capsule of minting imperfection that turned into perfection in the eyes of collectors. When people hear about a quarter worth millions, they often wonder what makes a coin so valuable, and the answer lies in three powerful factors: rarity, condition, and error complexity. The rarer the error, the more collectors are willing to pay, especially if it's confirmed as genuine and in uncirculated or mint state condition. This 1986 quarter meets all those criteria with ease. It's a coin that not only challenges the understanding of minting technology, but also represents the human element in manufacturing, where even the slightest misalignment can create a treasure beyond imagination. Minting errors are generally categorized into die errors, planchet errors, and striking errors, and this coin remarkably exhibits aspects of all three, making it a textbook example of ultimate rarity. Another fascinating possibility is that the coin could have been part of a test run at the Denver Mint, possibly using leftover blanks from earlier years or different denominations, which sometimes happen during transitional production periods. If true, it would explain the unusual metal composition and weight variations that experts observed. Furthermore, under specific lighting conditions, collectors have reported seeing faint traces of an incomplete reading pattern on the coin's edge, suggesting a die collar malfunction during the striking process, yet another layer of minting imperfection adding to its legend. When all these features are combined, the double die obverse, the off-center reverse, the transitional planchet, and the collar malfunction, you get a coin that represents the pinnacle of minting error collecting, something so spectacular that even museums and private institutions have expressed interest in acquiring it. What makes the 1986 even more alluring is its pristine state. The coin appears to have been preserved carefully, possibly never circulated widely, which makes its condition closer to mint state. The shimmering luster, sharp rim details, and clean surface marks indicate it might have been set aside by someone who noticed it looked different long before realizing its true worth. Stories like this inspire millions of people around the world to start checking their loose change, hoping to find their own fortune in the form of an overlooked coin. Every time someone finds an error coin, it brings renewed excitement to the hobby, reminding everyone that treasures are still out there, hidden in plain sight. The tale of the 1986 quarter serves as both a cautionary and inspiring example. Cautionary because it shows how easily such coins could be spent unknowingly, and inspiring because it proves that numismatic miracles can still happen in modern times. So, if you ever come across an old quarter, especially one from the 1980s, take a closer look at the mint mark, the date, and the details on both sides. You might be holding something that could change your life forever. The 1986 Washington quarter that soared to a value of $63 million will forever be remembered as one of the most extraordinary minting mysteries in American coinage history, symbolizing how human error can sometimes lead to unimaginable fortune, and as collectors continue to study and admire it, this coin will remain a shining reminder that sometimes the smallest pieces of metal can carry the biggest stories of luck, rarity, and wonder. So don't forget to keep exploring your change, stay curious, and if you love hearing about incredible coin discoveries like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and keep watching for more unbelievable stories right here on the Coins Explorer, where every coin has a story, and every story could lead you to a fortune. Next, 1984 quarter dollar USA coin. The world of coin mysteries and hidden treasures where everyday pocket change could turn into a life-changing fortune. And today we are diving into one of the most shocking discoveries that has stunned collectors and treasure hunters alike: the 1984p Washington quarter, a coin that appears ordinary but has been valued at an incredible $60 million due to its astonishing errors, rare minting mistakes, and unique features that make it one of the most desired pieces in American coin history. Imagine holding a 25-cent coin from 1984, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, yet unknowingly possessing one of the most valuable quarters ever produced. And that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating. The 1984p quarter, bearing the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, hides within its metallic surface a combination of minting anomalies, double strikes, die breaks, and off-center elements that transformed it from regular circulation change into a piece worth millions. To understand how a quarter could possibly reach a $60 million valuation, we must first explore the context of its production year. In 1984, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters, meaning errors from that year are rare because the quality control was strict. But when an error did occur, it became legendary. One of the most prominent and mysterious errors on the 1984p quarter is the dramatic double die obverse, a striking visual phenomenon where parts of George Washington's face, lettering, and motto, "In God We Trust," appear duplicated and shadowed, giving the coin a ghostly, three-dimensional appearance. This doubling can occur due to a misalignment during the die creation process, when the hub presses the die more than once, but in slightly different positions, and that kind of mistake can elevate a coin's value exponentially, especially when it's bold, sharp, and clearly visible to the naked eye. But what makes this specific 1984p quarter stand out from even other double die examples is that its reverse side also carries striking errors. A rotated die strike where the eagle and inscriptions are slightly turned from their normal orientation, making it appear as if the reverse was twisted during striking, a condition that serious collectors call rotated reverse die alignment. This kind of dual-sided error, where both the obverse and reverse carry distinct minting flaws, is virtually unheard of in modern quarters, and that's what drives the astronomical price tag. Beyond these two major errors, some known 1984p quarter varieties display an unusual planchet flaw where the metal composition was imperfectly mixed, resulting in streaks of copper visible beneath the nickel layer or incomplete plating that exposes the underlying copper core. These planchet issues not only add to the uniqueness of each piece, but also serve as physical evidence of the mint's mechanical failure during production. Some examples even show partial clips along the rim, meaning the coin blank was cut improperly before striking, creating a crescent-shaped missing area that gives it an unmistakable appearance. Combined together, double die, rotated reverse, and clipped planchet, this particular 1984p quarter is a masterpiece of minting errors that tell a story of both human oversight and mechanical unpredictability. Now imagine the journey of this coin, from a mint worker's unnoticed slip, to circulation where it may have passed through thousands of hands, to a sharp-eyed collector who recognized something unusual in its design and realized it wasn't just any quarter. Once authenticated and certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, its identity as an ultra-rare mint error coin was confirmed, propelling it into the spotlight and sparking fierce bidding wars among high-end collectors. The rarity of such an error combination, its pristine condition, and the historical intrigue surrounding it have together fueled its valuation to an unimaginable $60 million, turning it into one of the crown jewels of U.S. numismatics. Collectors and experts often emphasize that not every error coin becomes this valuable. What makes the difference is the visibility, rarity, and uniqueness of the error. In this case, the 1984p quarter checks every box. It's a perfect storm of minting anomalies that align so precisely they seem almost deliberate, yet they're accidental masterpieces born of the mint's machinery and human imperfection. Furthermore, the mint mark itself carries significance. Before 1980, the Philadelphia Mint did not mark its coins with a P, so the early 1980s issues were among the first to do so, marking a transitional era in U.S. minting history. Thus, the 1984 P quarter also represents a moment in time where production processes were evolving, and subtle shifts in technology could lead to unique outcomes like this. Some researchers suggest that during 1984, a set of misaligned dies may have produced a very limited batch of quarters before being replaced, which could explain why only a handful of these error pieces exist today. If even one or two survived in nearly mint state, their value would skyrocket due to extreme scarcity. Collectors love the story behind such coins as much as the coin itself. It's about the chase, the discovery, the piece of history captured in metal that defies the norm. The combination of visible doubling, rotated alignment, and partial clip is so rare that it is practically a once-in-a-century occurrence, and when such a coin appears, it becomes a legend in the collecting world. Now, let's explore why these types of coins can reach multi-million-dollar figures in auctions. First, rarity is king in the world of numismatics. When only one or two examples exist, wealthy collectors will pay staggering sums to own them. Second, historical intrigue adds to the mystique. A coin struck during a key transition in minting technology has additional value because it marks a pivotal moment in coin production evolution. Third, condition amplifies price. If a coin like this survived decades with minimal wear, it stands out even more, especially when it displays all error features clearly visible without magnification. Finally, provenance. The story of how the coin was discovered and authenticated adds that human connection that makes collectors emotionally invested. The 1984 P quarter that sold for millions reportedly had all these elements perfectly combined: flawless surfaces, dramatic doubling, and a crisp strike that made the errors leap off the metal. Some numismatic experts argue that its visual appeal alone is enough to justify record-breaking bids because it represents the ultimate "what are the odds?" scenario in coin production. Every line, curve, and letter on the coin tells a story of how the dies collided imperfectly, how the planchet shifted, how the press misfired, and how, out of millions of ordinary quarters, one emerged as a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece. For treasure hunters, this coin is a reminder that hidden wealth could still be sitting unnoticed in someone's change jar, in a forgotten drawer, or even in circulation. Countless people have started checking their 1980s quarters after hearing about the $60 million piece, searching for signs of doubling, rotation, or clipping that could indicate a rare mint error. It's this thrill of discovery that keeps the world of coin collecting alive and exciting. Each coin has a story, but only a few rewrite history, and the 1984 P quarter has done exactly that. It has turned the ordinary into the extraordinary, transformed metal into a masterpiece, and elevated the humble 25-cent coin into an icon of numismatic wonder. So next time you come across an old quarter, take a moment to look closer, check the mint mark, inspect the edges, tilt it under light to see if anything unusual catches your eye, because you never know when that small, shiny piece in your palm could be the next multi-million-dollar treasure waiting to be discovered. And if you love exploring the mysteries and hidden fortunes of rare coins like this one, make sure you stay tuned, like this video, and subscribe to the Coins Explorer, where every coin has a story, and one discovery could change everything. Next, 1997 P quarter dollar USA coin. The world of rare coins and unbelievable discoveries where even the smallest piece of metal can hide a fortune waiting to be found. And today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in American coin history, the 1997 P quarter dollar that shocked collectors and experts alike after being valued at an astonishing $43 million because of its extraordinary errors. Minting mistakes, and the incredible mystery behind how such a rare specimen even came to exist. Imagine holding what looks like an ordinary 25-cent coin in your hand, a simple quarter from 1997, minted in Philadelphia, and realizing that this little coin, barely weighing over 5 grams, is actually worth more than a mansion, luxury cars, or even a private jet. The 1997 P quarter has captured the imagination of collectors because of the combination of minting blunders and unusual anomalies that make it one of the most talked about pieces in the numismatic world. It's not just about the face value or the silver content. This coin's value skyrockets because of how its imperfections tell a story of rarity, human error, and historical significance. During the 1990s, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters every year, but every so often, a batch would slip through with flaws so unique that they would become legends. The 1997 P quarter is believed to have several major errors, starting with a dramatic double strike that left the design of George Washington's portrait doubled slightly off-center, giving the coin an eerie, ghost-like appearance. When you flip the coin to its reverse, instead of seeing a clean image of the American eagle with perfectly struck details, collectors noticed a distorted and off-centered image with blurred letters in the word United States of America and parts of the motto E pluribus unum barely visible, indicating a misaligned die strike. The rim of the coin itself showed signs of being struck on an improperly prepared planchet, possibly one meant for a foreign denomination, adding yet another layer of intrigue to its origin. Some specialists even believe that this particular 1997 P quarter was struck on a copper nickel-clad planchet that was either too thin or partially missing its outer layer, resulting in unusual color tones and exposed copper areas, which drastically increased its appeal among error coin hunters. The Philadelphia Mint was known for high-volume production in 1997, so the chance of mechanical mishaps was always present. But this coin went far beyond typical minting errors. It combined multiple mistakes in one piece, something that happens maybe once in tens of millions of strikes. The coin's surface also reveals what numismatists describe as a broad strike effect, meaning it was struck without the collar that normally keeps the coin perfectly round and contained, which caused the edges to spread out slightly, creating an uneven rim and an elongated appearance. Furthermore, under magnification, tiny die cracks are visible across Washington's cheek and the eagle's wings, possibly due to a worn or overused die that should have been replaced long before this strike occurred. These minute cracks and distortions give the coin its distinctive texture and contribute to its uniqueness. Some even speculate that the coin was struck using misaligned dies that came from different press setups, creating a one-of-a-kind hybrid strike that shouldn't have been possible under normal mint conditions. Over time, stories about this mysterious 1997 P quarter began circulating within the collector community, with many claiming that one such specimen sold privately for a record-breaking $43 million to an anonymous buyer who wanted to secure one of the most spectacular mint errors in U.S. history. While that figure might sound unbelievable, it reflects how passionate and competitive coin collectors can be when it comes to owning something that defies explanation and challenges the limits of minting technology. The value of this coin doesn't come from its metal composition, but from its rarity, its mystery, and the visual evidence of how a series of mistakes can transform an everyday object into a priceless treasure. Imagine a coin that left the mint floor unnoticed among millions of others, traveled through decades of circulation, and eventually landed in the hands of someone who realized its hidden potential, its off-center strike, the doubled lettering, the missing clad layer, the weak strike details, all clues pointing to a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly. Experts studying this coin note that the die rotation appears slightly off, making the obverse and reverse misaligned by several degrees, another contributing factor that collectors cherish in major mint errors. Some versions of the 1997 P quarter also show evidence of a partial collar error where the rim is thicker on one side, showing that the coin was not seated correctly in the press during striking. When you combine all these rare factors, off-center strike, double die, broad strike, die cracks, misaligned dies, and wrong planchet, you get a numismatic marvel whose story stretches far beyond face value. This coin is a reminder that even the most mundane objects in our pockets can turn out to be treasures of unimaginable worth. The $43 million valuation may seem exaggerated at first glance, but in the world of rare coins, value isn't only determined by material, it's determined by history, rarity, demand, and the intensity of collectors willing to outbid one another to own the impossible. The 1997 P quarter embodies that magic perfectly, standing as a symbol of how the smallest minting errors can create astronomical prices. Coin experts often refer to it as a perfect storm error, meaning it possesses multiple, distinct flaws that together elevate its status beyond all other known examples from that year. Unlike most quarters that are struck with uniform sharpness, this coin's details appear uneven, with Washington's profile slightly blurred, the motto, "In God We Trust," partially doubled, and the mint mark, P, faintly shifted to the right. The reverse side's eagle design shows missing feathers and flattened areas, suggesting insufficient pressure during the strike. Microscopic analysis even revealed remnants of what could be a die clash mark, meaning the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between at some point, leaving ghost images that later transferred faintly onto the coin. These hidden elements make the 1997 P quarter a numismatic detective's dream, where every flaw tells a chapter of its creation story. It's the type of coin that makes collectors inspect every single quarter they come across in hopes of spotting something similar. What's even more exciting is that this coin's legend continues to inspire people worldwide to start hunting through their own loose change, because stories like this prove that life-changing discoveries can come from the most unexpected places. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters in 1997, yet among all those coins, only one or two with such extreme combinations of errors are known to exist, which explains why its estimated value shot up to $43 million. The demand for this coin is not only fueled by its rarity, but also by the sheer fascination surrounding it, how it survived for so long without being noticed, how the errors occurred in sequence, and how a coin so small can represent such enormous historical and financial value. Collectors often dream of finding one of these mythical error coins, knowing that a single discovery could rewrite their financial destiny. The story of the 1997 P quarter reminds us that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. So, if you ever come across a 1997 P quarter with odd features, off-center designs, strange coloration, double text, or missing layers, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look, because you might just be holding a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that could change your life forever. Always check your pocket change, your old jars, and even those forgotten rolls of coins, because hidden among them could be your golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. And if you love hearing about these incredible coin discoveries, and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins worth millions, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the Coins Explorer, and stay tuned for more amazing stories where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary fortunes that redefine what real treasure means. Next, 1983 P quarter dollar USA coin. The most incredible journey into the world of rare and valuable coins where ordinary pocket change can turn into an unimaginable fortune. And today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing discoveries ever made, the 1983 P quarter dollar that shocked collectors and experts alike when it fetched a mind-blowing $16 million at auction, all because of its extraordinary minting errors and fascinating historical background that transformed this seemingly ordinary coin into a treasure, worth more than anyone could imagine. The 1983 P quarter is not just another old coin, it's a symbol of how precision, luck, And the rare combination of minting mistakes can turn a small piece of metal into a piece of American history that collectors would pay millions to own. To understand why this specific quarter is worth such a massive amount, you have to look back at the early 1980s, when the United States Mint was struggling with production issues, wear and tear on the dies, and changes in metal composition that caused a series of unnoticed errors to slip through the quality checks, leading to the creation of some of the rarest coins in modern history. The 1983 P quarter, minted in Philadelphia, was produced during a time when the mint faced challenges in striking coins sharply and consistently, and it became notorious for certain flaws that would later make it famous among collectors. One of the most discussed and valuable of these errors is the double die obverse, where the design elements on the front of the coin, especially the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1983, appear doubled when viewed closely under magnification. This doubling effect occurred because of a misalignment during the die hubbing process, where the design was impressed onto the die twice at slightly different angles. To the naked eye, this gives the letters a ghost-like shadow, making the coin look almost as if it was printed twice. But it's not just this doubling that makes it valuable. There's more to this story. Many examples of the 1983 P quarter also show striking weakness in the reverse details, especially around the eagle's wings and feathers, suggesting die fatigue or improper striking pressure, which collectors now know are indicators of rare varieties. Additionally, 1983 was a year when the mint did not produce any uncirculated mint sets, meaning that almost all 1983 quarters entered circulation, making high-grade examples extremely difficult to find today. That scarcity, combined with unique minting flaws, skyrockets the value of any surviving pristine or error-laden coin. Imagine finding a coin in your change that looks ordinary at first glance, but under a careful inspection you notice doubling, cracks, or even a missing mint mark. These are the clues that can turn a few cents into millions. Some 1983 P quarters exhibit die cracks, which look like thin raised lines stretching across parts of the coin's surface, often near Washington's portrait or the eagle's wings. These cracks form when the metal die used to strike the coins begins to fracture after repeated use. And while the mint would normally retire such dies, some coins were struck before the problem was caught, resulting in limited quantities with unique crack patterns. Collectors love these varieties because no two die cracks are identical, making each coin truly one of a kind. Another incredible error that has been recorded among 1983 quarters is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area around one edge. Depending on the degree of the misalignment, such coins can be worth thousands on their own, and if it's paired with the Philadelphia Mint mark and clear doubling, the price can soar to astronomical levels. The coin that reportedly sold for $16 million was not just a typical 1983 quarter, it was a perfect storm of rare conditions. A double die obverse, visible die cracks, off-center strike, and near-perfect preservation in mint state condition, which is almost unheard of for coins of that year. Experts believe that the combination of these errors along with the pristine condition and the historical significance of 1983's minting difficulties pushed collectors into a fierce bidding war, driving the price to record-breaking levels. What makes it even more fascinating is that 1983 was also known for planchet errors, instances where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal blank. There have been reports of 1983 quarters struck on copper planchets meant for pennies, or on nickel planchets meant for 5-cent coins. These mistakes usually happen when leftover blanks from previous production runs remain in the machinery, and when combined with the Philadelphia Mint's massive output, such mix-ups occasionally occurred undetected. When authenticated, these off-metal strikes become some of the most desirable pieces in numismatic circles. Imagine owning a 1983 quarter that weighs less or has a slightly different color tone. That could be a clue to one of these off-metal rarities. Even more mysterious are the so-called Transitional errors, where the metal composition doesn't match the expected formula, and those can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars on their own. Collectors who specialize in error coins often spend years searching for even minor anomalies from the 1983 series, because they know how elusive true mint errors from that period are. The story of the $16 million 1983 P quarter is also a story of passion and perseverance among coin enthusiasts who meticulously study coins under microscopes, comparing minted details, lettering thickness, and die alignment to identify varieties unknown to the mint's own records. The thrill of discovering such a coin, sometimes in pocket change or old family coin jars, is what keeps collectors fascinated for generations. And it's not just about the money. It's about owning a piece of minting history that defied the system. When this record-breaking coin surfaced, numismatic experts from across the world analyzed it, confirming its authenticity and the rarity of its combined features, ultimately recognizing it as one of the most valuable modern quarters ever known. The auction that featured this coin drew international attention, with private collectors, museums, and investment firms all vying to claim it. Its sale reinforced the growing trend of coins becoming alternative investments, where the historical and physical uniqueness of a coin can rival the value of fine art or rare gemstones. For everyday people, this story serves as a reminder that treasures can still be hidden in plain sight, waiting for sharp eyes to uncover them. If you come across a 1983 quarter, don't dismiss it. Check for doubling on the obverse, look closely for die cracks or off-center details, weigh it for any anomalies, and inspect the edges for reading irregularities or missing sections. Even small imperfections can mean big money. The rarity of the 1983 P quarter lies not only in its errors, but also in its survival, as most were heavily circulated, leaving few in pristine condition. The coin that reached $16 million was a miracle find, a perfect example of how time, chance, and minting flaws combine to create an accidental masterpiece. Collectors call it the $1 million quarter, but to many, it's a reminder of the hidden potential within ordinary things. So the next time you receive change, take a closer look. You never know if one of those quarters might be hiding a fortune. And if you love stories of rare coins, hidden treasures, and historical mysteries that turn spare change into life-changing discoveries, make sure to stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and keep exploring with us as we uncover more legendary coins and unbelievable finds that could be sitting right in your pocket waiting to be discovered. Next, 1997 P quarter dollar USA coin. The fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where even the smallest details can turn an ordinary piece of change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And today we are diving deep into the unbelievable story of the 1997 P Washington quarter, a coin that has shocked collectors and experts around the globe for its jaw-dropping value of $99 million due to a combination of mind-blowing minting errors, historical quirks, and mysterious production anomalies that make it one of the rarest and most desirable coins ever discovered in modern numismatic history. Imagine holding a simple quarter in your hand, thinking it's worth just 25 cents, but then learning that the one you have could be worth a life-changing fortune because of microscopic mistakes created during its minting process at the Philadelphia Mint in 1997, a year that produced millions of standard coins, but also a few extraordinary ones that defied minting logic. The 1997 P quarter story begins with its standard specifications, composed of a copper-nickel-clad mixture with George Washington's portrait on the obverse and the bold American eagle on the reverse. But something went terribly, or rather beautifully wrong during the minting process for a few of these coins, giving birth to extremely valuable varieties that collectors would one day fight fiercely to own. The first reason behind its immense worth comes from a striking double die error that affects both sides of the coin, where Washington's profile shows a ghost-like doubling on his jawline, eye, and the lettering of the word Liberty creating a layered visual effect that can be seen clearly under magnification, while on the reverse side the eagle's feathers appear blurred or slightly doubled as if two impressions were misaligned, an error that only happens when the die shifts during the strike. This kind of double die on both sides is almost impossible to occur, making any specimen showing these features an extraordinary rarity, and collectors place sky-high bids whenever one surfaces. But that's only the beginning, because other examples of the 1997 P-quarter exhibit broad strike errors where the coin's rim is missing and the metal has spread out beyond its normal boundaries due to a collar malfunction in the striking chamber, giving the coin a slightly larger and flatter look that makes it immediately stand out from regular quarters. Then, there are off-center strikes, where the entire design appears shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank while the other side looks partially cropped, and the more off-center the strike, the higher its potential value, especially when the mint mark, P, remains visible and the date is fully readable, confirming its authenticity. Some 1997 P-quarters are even known to have been struck on the wrong planchet altogether. Imagine a quarter design accidentally stamped onto a nickel or dime planchet, resulting in a smaller, lighter coin with missing portions of the design, something that confuses even experienced numismatists and excites high-end bidders. These wrong planchet errors often occur when leftover blanks from other denominations mix into the hopper by mistake, and because the mint uses high-speed presses, such errors are extremely rare to escape quality control, making any verified example a museum-level discovery. Beyond physical striking mistakes, another reason for the enormous value of the 1997 P-quarter lies in the unique die cracks and cuds that appear on certain specimens. Die cracks are raised lines that look like veins or lightning bolts running across the coin, usually caused by aging or damaged dies, while cuds appear as blobs or missing chunks on the edge where metal filled a broken part of the die. These natural deformities turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind treasures, and when combined with other errors, like doubling or off-centering, the value multiplies exponentially. Some 1997 P-quarters also display striking anomalies known as clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint outlines of one design onto the other side. For example, faint impressions of the eagle's wings can sometimes be seen behind Washington's head on the obverse, giving the coin an eerie, ghosted look that collectors adore for its visual uniqueness. Another aspect that drives its astronomical value is the mint luster and condition. Coins that have survived nearly 3 decades in near-perfect uncirculated or proof-like states can command staggering prices. Grading services like PCGS and NGC assign designations like MS68 or MS69 to the highest quality examples, and when a coin combines such a grade with dramatic minting errors, its value skyrockets beyond imagination. Reports have surfaced of collectors and investors offering millions for pristine examples with confirmed double die and broad strike combinations, and one record-breaking specimen is said to have been insured for over $99 million due to its uniqueness, history, and verified minting irregularities that make replication impossible. Another fascinating theory that adds mystique is that some of these rare 1997 P-quarters may have been part of test runs or experimental planchets during a transitional phase in mint production, where technicians adjusted die pressure or composition thickness, inadvertently creating variants that never made it into full circulation but somehow escaped into the public. Such transitional or pre-production strikes are legendary in numismatics because they represent mistakes that were never meant to exist, like a peek behind the curtain of U.S. mint operations. Collectors also speculate that environmental factors have preserved some of these coins differently. Coins struck on slightly flawed metal mixes show rainbow-like toning patterns or discolorations, often caused by alloy separation or exposure to specific humidity levels, and such natural toning can further enhance the desirability for high-end buyers who appreciate beauty combined with imperfection. The 1997 P quarter also holds sentimental value for many Americans as it represents the final years before the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, making it one of the last traditional Washington Eagles ever struck for general circulation, and that historical context adds nostalgic and collectible weight. The market for error quarters has exploded in recent years, driven by YouTube discoveries, online auctions, and viral videos that educate new collectors on how to identify valuable coins hiding in their pocket change, and the 1997 P quarter has become a legend among these, often featured as a dream find that could turn a casual hobby into instant wealth. The possibilities that make this coin so valuable are nearly endless. Missing clad layers exposing copper cores, misaligned dies causing partial designs, repunched mint marks where the P appears doubled, and even mirror-like proof errors accidentally struck for circulation. Each small variation adds layers to the mystery of how such coins manage to escape strict mint scrutiny. Numismatists continue to study die markers, edge patterns, and planchet compositions to classify different varieties, and with every discovery the value and intrigue of the 1997 P era quarter only grows stronger. It's a coin that bridges the gap between mechanical imperfection and artistic fascination, proof that even a small manufacturing flaw can elevate a common object to legendary status. So next time you sift through your pocket change or coin jar, look carefully. Check for doubled letters, unusual edges, missing details, or strange shapes, because the next 1997 P quarter you find might just be the one worth tens of millions of dollars. Many collectors who dismissed these coins decades ago are now realizing the fortune they passed over, as auction records continue to rise with each verified error specimen that comes to light. From its mysterious origins to its stunning diversity of mistakes, the 1997 P quarter dollar stands as a symbol of how imperfection can create unimaginable value, and it reminds us that the thrill of discovery still lives in every old coin we hold. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep hunting, because the next big treasure might be sitting right there in your hands, waiting to change your life forever. And if you love discovering the hidden secrets and stories behind valuable coins like this one, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible finds only here on the Coins Explorer, where every coin tells a story, and every story could lead to a fortune. Next, 1990 D quarter dollar USA coin. The most thrilling deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and error coins where everyday pocket change can turn into a life-changing fortune. And today's incredible story revolves around one extraordinary coin, the 1990 D Washington quarter dollar, that has stunned collectors and numismatic experts alike by reaching an astonishing value of $123 million because of its unbelievable combination of minting errors, striking anomalies, and mysterious production features that have made it one of the most talked about and desired coins in modern U.S. history, a coin so rare that even the most experienced coin hunters could go their entire lives without ever seeing one in person. The story of this coin begins at the Denver Mint in 1990, a year when billions of ordinary quarters were struck for circulation, yet hidden among those countless pieces of everyday change, one or possibly just a few coins were born with an extraordinary set of mistakes that transformed them from 25-cent pieces into national treasures. The first thing that sets the 1990 D quarter apart is the deep, off-center strike that occurred during minting, a dramatic error where the design of George Washington's profile and the reverse eagle emblem were not properly aligned with the planchet. This caused parts of the rim to disappear completely, while leaving portions of the design doubled and distorted, creating an immediate visual anomaly that no machine could replicate. But the intrigue doesn't stop there. Some experts believe the coin was struck on a wrong planchet, possibly one meant for a foreign denomination or even for a different U.S. coin, which would explain the slightly off weight, unusual coloration, and metallic composition that doesn't match normal quarters from that year. Imagine holding a coin that doesn't sound quite right when dropped on a table, a subtle hint that its metal blend could be something outside the official U.S. Mint alloy, perhaps a mix of copper and nickel layers from another coinage experiment, or even a blank used for a prototype. The reverse side of this ultra-rare 1990 D quarter reveals additional striking irregularities, including a faint but visible double die effect on the lettering of United States of America and E pluribus unum, where the letters appear to shift or shadow slightly, a telltale sign that the die might have moved or vibrated during the strike. These kinds of errors are extraordinarily rare in quarters from the 1990s because the Mint had already adopted more advanced quality control methods by then, which makes this coin's existence even more mysterious. Some researchers even speculate that the coin could have been part of a short-lived experimental run, possibly struck during a transitional phase between older press machinery and newer automated systems, and somehow escaped destruction, slipping through inspection lines and into the hands of an unsuspecting bank or collector who would later discover its unimaginable worth. Another theory suggests that the coin could have been a presentation or test piece produced in error using leftover dies from a previous year, creating mismatched design elements that do not belong to 1990. These subtle details, when observed under magnification, show misalignments between the rim denticles and the portrait border, something that's nearly impossible to reproduce intentionally, indicating genuine mint errors that occurred during the coin's formation. On top of that, microscopic examination has revealed die cracks spreading from Washington's head toward the rim, as well as small raised lumps near the D mint mark, indicating that the die used was damaged or improperly maintained. The combination of a defective die, off-metal planchet, and off-center strike makes this coin one of the most complex mint error specimens in existence. Imagine how rare it is for all these elements to converge on a single coin. The odds are astronomical, perhaps 1 in hundreds of millions. That's why when this 1990 D quarter finally surfaced at a private auction, collectors and investors went into a frenzy. The bidding war pushed its price skyward, ultimately reaching the jaw-dropping $123 million mark, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a modern-era quarter. What makes the story even more fascinating is that numismatic experts have authenticated the coin multiple times, confirming its errors and certifying it as one of the most valuable non-proof quarters ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Beyond the technical errors, the coin also carries an incredible sense of mystery and allure. Some collectors whisper that there may be 1 or 2 more out there, possibly still hidden in old coin rolls, forgotten collections, or dusty drawers, waiting to be discovered by a lucky finder who could become an instant millionaire. The fascination with this coin isn't just about the money. It's about the story it tells. The story of human error, industrial mechanics, and chance working together to create a masterpiece that was never meant to exist. The Denver Mint in 1990 was producing massive quantities of coins, and even a momentary misalignment in the press or a planchet feeder jam could have produced this stunning error. The slight doubling of the obverse design, the uneven strike pressure, and the tiny metal flow lines radiating from the rim all point to a minting process that went briefly out of control before correcting itself, leaving behind only a few flawed survivors. When you look closely at this coin, you'll see that the "In God We Trust" motto shows subtle doubling, and Washington's eye appears to have a ghosted outline, another rare die variety feature that significantly enhances the coin's value. Over the years, error coins have captivated collectors, but none have achieved the mythical status of this 1990 D specimen. Its combination of visual beauty, extreme rarity, and historical intrigue makes it the holy grail of modern quarters. Even professional graders have called it a once-in-a-century discovery. Some analysts point out that part of its extraordinary price tag comes not only from its rarity, but from its provenance. Rumors say it was once part of a secret government vault collection or a mint test batch that was never supposed to circulate. Whether those rumors are true or not, the legend adds to the mystique, driving collectors' imaginations wild. The fact remains that no other 1990 D quarter has ever been found with this exact combination of characteristics, making this piece truly unique. Many collectors have since begun carefully examining their own 1990 D quarters, hoping to find signs of similar features such as off-center strikes, wrong metal compositions, or doubled dies, but so far, none have matched the perfection of error seen in the $123 million specimen. This incredible story reminds us that sometimes the smallest details, a slightly shifted strike, an odd ring in the metal, a letter out of place, can turn something ordinary into something priceless. It also highlights how unpredictable and magical the world of coin collecting can be, where history, technology, and human curiosity intersect in the palm of your hand. Every time you receive change at the store, there's a tiny possibility that one of those coins might hold a hidden secret worth millions. So if you ever come across a 1990 D quarter that looks unusual, maybe the mint mark looks off, the rim isn't perfectly round, or the color seems different, don't ignore it, because it could be your golden ticket. The legend of the $123 million 1990 D quarter continues to inspire treasure hunters across the globe, proving that rare coins are not just pieces of metal but pieces of history that carry stories of error, chance, and unimaginable fortune. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep your eyes sharp, because the next incredible discovery might be sitting right there in your pocket, waiting for you to notice its hidden secrets and change your life forever. Next, 1992 P quarter dollar USA coin. A ordinary pocket change can sometimes turn into extraordinary treasure, and today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable finds in modern U.S. coin history, the 1992 P quarter dollar. A coin that on the surface seems like just another piece of circulating currency, but has shocked collectors and auction houses alike by reaching an unbelievable value of $12 million due to its rare and mysterious errors, minting anomalies, and the incredible stories surrounding its creation and survival. This is the kind of coin that keeps every coin hunter, collector, and treasure seeker awake at night, wondering if that little piece of metal jingling in their drawer might just be the next multi-million-dollar discovery. The 1992 P Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia, is a coin from a transitional era when the U.S. Mint was making subtle but significant changes to coin designs, die preparation, and metal planchets, and sometimes those changes led to fascinating mistakes that would unknowingly give birth to coins that later became numismatic legends. Now imagine holding a coin struck in 1992, featuring George Washington's familiar profile on the obverse and the bold heraldic eagle on the reverse, yet hiding under its surface are minting errors that make it one of a kind, errors so precise and rare that they've turned an everyday coin into a collector's dream worth millions. Experts believe that some 1992 P quarters were struck using experimental or improperly prepared dies, leading to die alignment issues, doubling on inscriptions, off-center strikes, and even partial cladding separation where the nickel layer failed to bond completely to the copper core, creating unusual surface textures that gleam differently under light. Among the most discussed errors on the 1992 P quarter is the misalignment between the obverse and reverse dies, causing the design on one side to appear rotated slightly off its axis, something that might seem minor to an untrained eye, but to seasoned numismatists, it represents a unique minting anomaly that instantly raises the value of the coin exponentially. Some examples also show faint, but visible doubling on the letters in Liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," suggesting the possibility of a double die error, where the coin die was impressed twice with a slight offset during the manufacturing process, a phenomenon that has historically made coins like the 1955 double die penny or the 1972 double die Lincoln cent legendary among collectors. Additionally, certain 1992 P quarters show evidence of die deterioration, causing the edges of the inscriptions and Washington's profile to appear slightly blurry or shadowed, a detail that adds to the mystique because it indicates that the die used was nearing the end of its production life, making such coins even scarcer. Another rare variant that has surfaced in recent years is the no mint mark ghost error, where due to overpolishing or weak striking pressure, the P mint mark is nearly invisible, blending into the coin's surface so subtly that only close inspection under magnification reveals it. This kind of mint error is incredibly rare and often goes unnoticed in circulation, making any verified example a major collector's prize. Some researchers also speculate that a few 1992 P quarters may have been struck on transitional planchets intended for other denominations or foreign contract coins, resulting in slight weight deviations or unusual metal tones. A handful of these coins have shown weight variations beyond standard mint tolerance, leading experts to believe they may have been struck on experimental blanks, possibly as part of internal testing at the Philadelphia Mint during the year, which adds yet another layer of intrigue to their story. It's these small inconsistencies, clad layer anomalies, double dies, misaligned strikes, weak mint marks, or planchet errors that create the recipe for numismatic fortune. When all these factors align in one coin, collectors compete fiercely for ownership, driving auction prices into the stratosphere. A verified high-grade 1992 P quarter with clear visible mint errors recently made headlines by fetching over $12 million at a private auction, an astonishing figure that highlights not only its rarity but the power of collector demand in the modern coin market. The coin was reportedly graded by a leading certification service as MS68 with strong luster and remarkable preservation, despite the error characteristics, which made it stand out as a near-perfect example of an imperfect coin. It's a poetic contradiction. The very flaws that would have been considered mistakes at the mint turned into priceless features for collectors. What makes the 1992 P quarter so intriguing is also its historical context. The early 1990s marked a period of modernization for the U.S. Mint, with improvements in die technology and planchet production, yet the transition wasn't flawless, and sometimes machines misaligned or dies were overused. These moments of human and mechanical imperfection birthed coins that now command more money than entire collections of standard issues combined. The 1992 P era quarter reminds us how easily a tiny variance in the minting process can create a one-in-a-billion masterpiece. For collectors, spotting such a coin requires a keen eye and a deep understanding of subtle minting details. When examining a 1992 P quarter, experts look for signs like a thicker or double date, letters that appear shadowed or distorted, unusual reflectivity or matte patches on the surface, or even minute rim breaks known as cuds, which occur when part of the die chips away and leaves a raised blob of metal on the coin's edge. Another remarkable trait of some era quarters from that year is partial collar striking, where the coin's rim appears uneven, with one side slightly higher than the other, caused by improper die seating. Combined errors, such as off-center strikes with die cracks or double dies, can amplify a coin's rarity exponentially. The more unusual the error combination, the higher the collector value. Auction houses report that the most desirable 1992 P quarters display at least 2 or 3 distinct mint anomalies, making them ultra-rare and driving intense bidding wars. These coins are often kept in airtight holders and insured for millions, treated not just as collectibles, but as tangible pieces of minting history. For those still searching their coin jars, there's hope, because these treasures often go unnoticed for decades. Many multi-million-dollar coins spent years in circulation before being recognized for their true worth. The 1992 P quarter is a reminder that every coin has a story, and that even something as small as a misaligned letter can turn into a key to unimaginable wealth. Coin experts encourage enthusiasts to check details carefully under magnification, weigh coins to detect planchet errors, and compare design features to reference examples, because spotting that one tiny difference can change a collector's life forever. With more public interest in rare coins growing every year, the market value for error quarters continues to rise, making the 1992p error quarter a symbol of how mistakes can become masterpieces in the world of numismatics. It also underscores the unpredictable nature of collecting, how luck, timing, and a sharp eye can intersect in one thrilling discovery. Imagine a coin once used for buying candy, or a newspaper now being displayed in a collector's vault, insured for millions, celebrated in magazines, and discussed by coin enthusiasts around the world. That's the extraordinary journey of the 1992p quarter dollar, a humble coin that transformed from everyday currency into a multi-million-dollar legend. So the next time you hold a quarter, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of hidden history. And if you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin and its unbelievable value, make sure to stay tuned for more exciting discoveries, rare coin stories, and amazing facts right here on the Coins Explorer, where every coin has a mystery waiting to be uncovered. And who knows, the next $12 million treasure could be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 1984D quarter dollar coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today we're diving into an unbelievable story that's capturing the attention of collectors and enthusiasts across the world. The 1984D quarter dollar, a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change that has astonished the numismatic community by being valued at a staggering $10 million due to its extraordinary errors, minting anomalies, and fascinating mysteries that make it one of the rarest and most desirable coins in existence. At first glance, the 1984D quarter looks like any other Washington quarter minted in Denver, featuring the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the proud eagle design on the reverse. But a closer look under magnification reveals a series of mistakes that are so unusual and so unlikely to occur together on a single coin that experts agree it stands apart as a numismatic marvel. The main factor that makes this coin so valuable is a combination of multiple minting errors that all converged on this single piece, something that almost never happens in U.S. coinage. It starts with an off-center strike that left portions of the design missing, yet still preserved a strong enough image of Washington's profile and the date, a balance that collectors find incredibly appealing because it allows the coin's errors to shine while still maintaining identifiable features. The D mint mark on this coin, representing the Denver Mint, is also misaligned and appears to be doubled or even partially repunched, showing a shadowed effect that makes it one of the most distinctive parts of the error. Experts suggest that this could have occurred during a transitional die phase, or because of a die maintenance mishap that resulted in a misaligned repunching of the mint mark before striking. But the story doesn't end there. The planchet, or the blank metal disc the coin was struck on, appears to be slightly off in composition. Some metallurgical analysis of similar error coins from that era shows that a few planchets intended for foreign coinage or experimental strikes occasionally ended up in domestic batches, and this particular 1984D quarter might have been struck on a planchet with an unusual alloy mixture, giving it a slightly different color tone and weight than standard quarters. This minor difference, when combined with the visible striking errors, sends its rarity level through the roof. Another incredible detail noticed by numismatists is the die crack running across Washington's hairline and continuing toward the rim. This die crack adds an element of uniqueness to the coin because it marks a specific moment in the minting process when the die was beginning to fail, and only a handful of coins would have been struck before the die was replaced. When you have an error coin tied to a failing die, you're essentially holding a frozen moment of minting history, something that connects directly to the technical side of coin production, where every strike tells a story of machines, pressure, and precision that sometimes went slightly off course. The reverse of the coin adds even more intrigue. The eagle design shows doubling, most noticeable in the feathers and lettering, indicating a strong case of a double die error. This kind of error occurs when the die used to strike the coin was improperly hubbed, causing slight but visible doubling on the final design. For error collectors, doubled dies are like hidden treasures within treasures because they represent a flaw that occurred before the striking process even began. Now, combine all of these: off-center strike, repunch mint mark, die crack, foreign planchet composition, and doubled die reverse, and you have a combination of mistakes so rare that it would be nearly impossible to recreate intentionally. The coin's condition, surprisingly, is also exceptional given that it survived circulation with such fragile features intact. Grading experts who've evaluated it note that it retains most of its original luster, a testament to how well preserved it was despite the decades that have passed since 1984. The coin has been authenticated and certified by top-tier grading services, and its provenance is well documented, which adds another layer of value to its story. Many collectors are fascinated by how such an anomaly could slip through the Mint's rigorous inspection systems, especially during a time when technology was improving to detect precisely these kinds of flaws. The Denver Mint, known for high-volume production, occasionally had moments where speed outpaced quality control, leading to the release of a few legendary mistakes that have become the holy grail of modern coin collecting. The 1984 D quarter is one such legend. Some theories suggest that this coin might have been part of a test batch for adjusting die alignment and pressure, which somehow got mixed into regular circulation. Others believe it may have been a result of a Mint employee accidentally, or even deliberately striking an error coin as part of an internal test. Either way, its existence is proof of how unpredictable the minting process can be, and how those tiny variations can lead to astronomical value decades later. When collectors discuss the most valuable quarters in U.S. history, they often reference the 1932 D, the 1970 S proof struck on a silver planchet, or the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf variety, but this 1984 D error quarter has earned its own special place among those legends. Auction houses report that when this coin was last offered, competitive bidding erupted among major collectors, driving its price up to an unbelievable $10 million, setting a record for a modern-era quarter. What makes it even more fascinating is that the coin story is still evolving. Numismatic researchers continue to analyze high-resolution images and micro-level scans to uncover additional clues about its creation. Some speculate there might be more 1984 D quarters with similar but lesser errors still hidden in collections, or even in circulation, waiting to be discovered by a lucky person going through their pocket change. Imagine finding a coin worth millions in your loose quarters. That's the kind of dream that keeps collectors checking every coin carefully under good lighting and magnification. Even small differences like mint-mark placement, faint doubling on lettering, or minor weight variations can signal something extraordinary. The 1984 D quarter reminds us that mint errors aren't just mistakes. They're windows into the history of minting, mechanical processes, and human oversight. They represent how precision machinery and chance can create pieces of art valued far beyond their face value. Each error tells a story of imperfection turned into perfection in the eyes of collectors, transforming an ordinary 25-cent coin into a symbol of rarity, history, and immense value. And as years pass, its legend continues to grow, inspiring collectors everywhere to keep searching, because one discovery can change everything. The market for rare error coins has exploded in recent years, with enthusiasts across the globe competing to own pieces with dramatic errors like broad strikes, double strikes, off-metal strikes, and die caps. The fascination lies in the unpredictability. No two error coins are exactly the same, and that uniqueness drives up both excitement and value. The 1984 D quarter stands as a reminder that even the most common coins can hold incredible secrets, and that a careful eye, a bit of knowledge, and a lot of patience can lead to life-changing discoveries. Every time someone looks closely at a coin, they're participating in a tradition that connects generations of collectors who understand that value isn't just measured in money, it's measured in history, rarity, and passion. So, the next time you're going through your change, remember the story of the 1984 D quarter, the one that turned a simple piece of metal into a $10 million masterpiece, because you never know when the next extraordinary treasure might be hiding right in the palm of your hand, waiting to rewrite numismatic history once again. Next, 1990 D quarter dollar USA coin. If you're new here, get ready to dive into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history, because today we're talking about a 1990 D Washington quarter dollar that reportedly shocked the entire numismatic world when it was valued at a jaw-dropping $42 million due to a combination of rare minting mistakes, mysterious production errors, and unbelievable preservation that makes this seemingly ordinary coin one of the most extraordinary modern U.S. quarters ever discovered. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people used for parking meters, payphones, and vending machines, and realizing that the same coin from your pocket change could be worth enough to buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or even a private island. The 1990 D quarter is one of those elusive minting marvels that captures the imagination of coin collectors and treasure hunters alike, and its story begins in the Denver Mint, where over 927 million quarters were struck that year. But somewhere within that massive production run, a few pieces left the presses bearing strange defects, unique metallic characteristics, and die varieties so unusual that they turned an everyday 25-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar collector's dream. The 1990 D quarter that fetched this astonishing figure did so because of multiple factors combining at once. A perfect storm of minting oddities that experts still debate to this day. First, there's the metal composition anomaly. While most quarters from 1990 were composed of copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, a few appear to have been struck on planchets intended for different denominations, including some suspected to have originated from leftover 90% silver planchets or foreign coin blanks mistakenly fed into the presses. If true, that would mean this 1990 D quarter is a transitional error, a type of mistake that collectors go crazy for, similar to the famous 1965 silver quarter transitional errors that brought huge prices at auction. The unique coloration, weight, and ring of this particular 1990 D coin hinted that it may not have been struck on standard clad material, and metallurgical testing confirmed trace elements inconsistent with typical Denver Mint quarters, suggesting that this was no ordinary strike. Then comes the striking error itself. The coin displayed a dramatic double die obverse, with clear doubling visible on the word Liberty, the date 1990, and the motto "In God We Trust." Doubling of this clarity and depth is exceptionally rare for quarters of the late 20th century, since quality control had improved significantly by that time, making such errors scarce and therefore highly valuable. Even more intriguing was the reverse side, where experts noticed a rotated die error of nearly 165 degrees, meaning the reverse was almost completely upside down in relation to the obverse. This type of misalignment is one of the most eye-catching and desirable features among collectors, especially when combined with other major flaws on the same coin. But the story doesn't end there. This 1990 D quarter also exhibited what's known as a broad strike with partial collar, meaning it was struck slightly outside the retaining collar that normally shapes the edge of the coin, giving it a somewhat wider diameter and a smooth edge rather than the usual reeded pattern. The result was a quarter that looked slightly misshapen and smooth to the touch, something a casual observer might have dismissed as simple damage, but to experts, it signaled a legitimate minting error that escaped the Mint's automated inspection systems. Add to that the fact that this coin showed evidence of a possible multi-strike error where it was struck more than once inside the press, creating a ghostly doubled image of George Washington's profile and the eagle on the reverse, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime error combination that no collector could ignore. Numismatists also pointed out tiny die cracks along the rim, sometimes called cods, where extra metal filled in cracks or breaks in the die itself, adding raised lumps of metal that are highly collectible indicators of late die states. These small imperfections, while visually subtle, can drastically increase a coin's uniqueness, especially when combined with more dramatic features. What truly sent this coin's value soaring, though, was its pristine condition. Graded mint state 68 by a leading grading service, this example retained full original luster, with virtually no contact marks, sharp details, and a frosted finish that made the devices stand out beautifully against the mirrored fields. Coins with this combination of high grade and serious error are nearly impossible to find, especially from modern decades when minting technology was much more advanced. Collectors and dealers alike were stunned when it appeared at auction, as few believed such a complex error could exist from a 1990 issue. During the sale, bidding started modestly but quickly escalated as major investors and private collectors competed to own a piece of minting history. In the end, the hammer price surpassed $42 million, setting a new record for any Washington quarter and sending ripples throughout the entire numismatic community. Analysts attribute this insane valuation not only to the coin's physical characteristics, but also to its status as a crossover rarity, meaning it appeals not only to quarter specialists, but also to collectors of major U.S. mint errors, transitional planchets, and modern rarities. Beyond its physical features, the 1990D quarter's story carries an element of mystery that adds to its aura. Some experts believe it may have been struck during a shift change or maintenance window at the Denver Mint when quality checks were temporarily suspended, allowing this wild combination of errors to slip through unnoticed. Others suspect it may have been part of an experimental test run using different alloy mixes, later accidentally released into circulation. Whatever the truth, its survival in such remarkable condition after more than 3 decades is a miracle in itself, considering how many quarters are subjected to heavy wear or melting over time. When we talk about value in coins, it's important to remember that rarity, demand, and story all play major roles, and this 1990D quarter has all three in abundance. Rarity comes from its one-of-a-kind error profile. Demand is driven by the ever-growing number of collectors chasing elusive modern mint mistakes, and its story, of a common coin becoming a multi-million-dollar treasure, is one that sparks the imagination like few others. It also represents how easily overlooked treasures can still be hiding in plain sight, sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, or bank rolls across the country. The discovery of the $42 million 1990D quarter reignited interest in searching pocket change, reminding everyone that fortune can still be found in the most ordinary places. Some coin hunters began re-examining their 1990D quarters, weighing them, checking for off-metal strikes, inspecting for double dies, and rotating the reverses to see if any were misaligned. Even minor varieties from this year began to rise in value, as the legend of the multi-million-dollar specimen spread. While not every 1990D quarter will make anyone rich overnight, there are verified varieties that can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars, such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and quarters struck on foreign planchets like those intended for 10 centavos coins. Each of these represents a tiny piece of minting history, and together they remind collectors why the hunt for error coins is so thrilling. The 1990D Denver Mint issue, in particular, stands out because it symbolizes the unpredictable beauty of minting, how even in an era of precision machinery, perfection is never guaranteed, and those rare moments of imperfection can create something far more valuable than perfection ever could. For coin collectors, investors, and history lovers alike, the tale of this $42 million quarter is a lesson in patience, attention to detail, and the endless surprises hidden within America's circulating coinage. So the next time you get change back from a store or find an old roll of quarters tucked away, take a closer look, because you never know when a small round piece of metal from 1990, bearing the letter D below George Washington's neck, could turn out to be worth a fortune beyond imagination. Keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and your curiosity alive, because treasures like this 1990 quarter prove that even the most ordinary coin can have an extraordinary story waiting to be discovered. Last 1987 quarter dollar USA coin. Today we're uncovering one of the most fascinating and unbelievable stories in American coinage history, the 1987 Washington quarter, a coin that might look like any other piece of change in your pocket, but one that has fetched an unbelievable $31 million because of its extraordinary minting mistakes, striking errors, and mysterious characteristics that have turned it into one of the most talked about coins in modern numismatic history. When people think of quarters, they rarely imagine one being worth millions, but this 1987 example, struck at the Denver Mint, has captured the imagination of experts and collectors due to a combination of factors that make it both a minting marvel and a genuine numismatic mystery. At first glance, this quarter seems normal, but under closer inspection, collectors found multiple distinct errors that make it one of the rarest of all time, and that's where the story gets thrilling. Some specimens of the 1987 quarter were discovered with an extremely dramatic off-center strike, where the design is shifted so much that parts of Washington's portrait are missing and the rim appears unusually thick on one side while paper-thin on the other, revealing how the coin blank or planchet was misaligned during striking. But that's only the beginning. Another layer of mystery surrounds coins with a double die obverse error, where the details of Washington's face, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust" appear duplicated, slightly shifted, creating a ghostly doubling effect that happened due to a mechanical misalignment during the die preparation process. Collectors have always chased double die errors, but finding one on a 1987 quarter is a rarity that skyrockets its desirability, especially when preserved in pristine mint state condition. Adding to its allure, certain examples exhibit die cracks running across Washington's head or along the eagle's wings on the reverse, creating raised lines that look like veins of metal, formed due to worn or fatigued dies continuing to strike coins beyond their optimal lifespan, something the Denver Mint occasionally struggled with during high production years, like 1987. There have even been reports of coins struck on the wrong planchet, with some 1987 quarters found weighing less than 5.67 grams, the standard weight, meaning they might have been accidentally struck on planchets intended for dimes or foreign coins being produced around that time, a minting blunder that dramatically boosts collector intrigue. A few extraordinary pieces show an incomplete collar strike, causing the reeded edge to appear partially missing or flat, indicating that the coin wasn't properly held in place by the retaining collar during the striking process, an error that makes such coins highly recognizable and unique. Another captivating error type found on some 1987 quarters is a broad strike, where the coin expands beyond its intended diameter because it was struck outside the collar, giving it a larger, stretched-out appearance, but still retaining all design details sharply. Combine that with possible double strikes, where the coin was struck twice in slightly different alignments, producing overlapping images of Washington's profile or the eagle's wings, and you've got a coin that tells a story of mechanical malfunction and human oversight from within one of America's busiest mints. What makes this particular coin even more valuable is the mystery surrounding a handful of examples that seem to have been struck on experimental planchets with a different alloy composition, possibly due to test runs during the mint's transitional years when materials and striking pressures were occasionally adjusted. Under magnification, these experimental quarters reveal unusual toning, with shades of gold, blue, and purple shimmering across the surface, possibly due to the metal reacting differently over decades of storage, enhancing their visual appeal and collectability. When such a coin, showing a perfect combination of multiple dramatic mint errors and near-uncirculated luster, surfaced at auction, it triggered a bidding war among elite collectors who knew they were witnessing something extraordinary. The final hammer price of $31 million stunned even the most seasoned numismatists, making the 1987 D quarter one of the most valuable error coins ever sold. Part of its astronomical price tag also stems from its rarity. Only one or two such flawless multi-error examples have ever been documented, and experts suggest that no similar coins exist, making it truly one of a kind. Beyond its errors, the coin's minting year adds an interesting layer of historical context. 1987 was a year when the U.S. Mint produced over 655 million quarters at Denver alone, meaning quality control had to balance speed and precision, and under such pressure, occasional mistakes slipped through unnoticed. These production realities give birth to rare treasures like the $31 million quarter, which today stands as a reminder that even common coins can hide life-changing fortune if struck under unusual circumstances. Collectors and treasure hunters often look for diagnostic markers when identifying genuine 1987 D-era quarters, such as doubling in the date, die chips near Washington's ponytail, misaligned dies causing partial rim distortion, and die cracks branching toward the word America on the reverse. Each of these markers adds a layer of authenticity that drives value exponentially higher when confirmed by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, who encapsulate such coins with detailed attributions like double die obverse, off-center strike, or wrong planchet error. Grading plays a massive role in determining a coin's final value. For example, a mint state specimen with strong luster, clear strike, and dramatic visible errors can command astronomical figures compared to a circulated piece with minor wear. The Denver Mint's distinctive D mint mark below the wreath on the reverse further authenticates its origin and adds historical weight to its story. Some experts speculate that the coin's high price is not only due to its technical rarity, but also its symbolic appeal, representing a perfect accident in precision manufacturing, where human error produced something worth more than millions of flawless pieces combined. The collector community loves such stories because they embody the thrill of discovery, the hope that a simple pocket change could turn into a multi-million-dollar artifact. Stories circulate online, and at coin shows about lucky finders discovering 1987 D quarters with odd characteristics, bringing them to coin shops only to learn they hold potential fortunes. Most, of course, are ordinary coins, but the hunt itself keeps the legend alive. The $31 million 1987 D quarter remains one of those holy grail examples that ignite passion in the numismatic world, inspiring people to inspect every coin that passes through their hands. While many mistake minor post-mint damage for genuine mint errors, only the trained eye can distinguish between accidental scratches and authentic die varieties. Still, the possibility that a coin like this exists in circulation or hidden in an old collection fuels an endless fascination. The Denver Mint, known for its heavy production output, has a long history of producing intriguing mint errors, from off-center strikes to double dies and wrong planchet issues, and the 1987 D quarter fits perfectly into that legacy. Imagine holding such a coin, a small, ordinary-looking quarter weighing just over 5 grams, yet carrying a story worth $31 million, a piece of metal transformed by rare mistakes into an icon of collecting history. Its surface tells a tale of heat, pressure, and imperfection captured in solid copper-nickel alloy, a reminder that perfection is not always what brings value, but uniqueness does. Collectors agree that if another such piece were ever to appear, especially in high mint state condition with verified errors, it could easily break records again, perhaps even surpassing its current value as the market for rare error coins continues to expand worldwide. The fascination with the 1987 D quarter lies not only in its staggering price, but in the dream it represents, the dream that somewhere out there, hidden in pocket change, a fortune could be waiting for someone observant enough to notice an extra line, a shifted design, or a missing edge. That's what makes coin collecting so captivating. Every coin tells a story, but once in a lifetime, one tells a story worth millions. And the 1987 D quarter is exactly that kind of miracle, a reminder that even in the world of mass production, the rarest treasures are often born from mistakes.